Today I want to get into a Sasaeng arrested for invasion of privacy and how that affects the community. We also have an alleged Sasaeng that apparently leaked Jung Kook in the elevator with his blonde girlfriend and what that was about. And lastly, we have Jung Kook talking about dating on a live stream. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Decide, hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, hey sling mug merch, and let's go. There's been a big issue with Sasaengs or stalkers lately. It seems to be something I talk about a lot within the last few months or so, and it's become not only hard for us, the fans, to ignore, but it seems to be an issue that the label can no longer ignore. And this is good. Once a situation gets big and people make a lot of noise about it, it definitely becomes harder for a label to not acknowledge and take action over. One situation of a stalker recently had a fairly satisfying ending. You might know the group Newest and the member Kim Jung-hyun. He recently went through something absolutely terrifying, and this new situation might cause some change for the industry and for BTS too. Apparently a member of Newest's fan club, or maybe it was a fan club for just Kim Jung-hyun, but the leader had apparently attempted to invade personal space. The leader of a fan club would probably have the most power for anything. When you're a leader of such a group, you have to love it and make it your life. This is the only way you can support the boys accurately and do a good job of being a fan club leader, because your job will sometimes consist of getting really fast up-to-date information. Otherwise, the people in the fan club might join another fan club that is more up-to-date, right? Since the whole point of being in the club is to get exclusive info, perks, and all that. It's tough because you don't want someone super obsessive where they become a stalker, but at the same time, if they're not that passionate about the idol, they'll naturally do a not so great job. So it's a bit of a catch-22. The alleged Sasaeng was reported to have violated Kim Jung-hyun's personal space and personal information. They also allegedly threatened the safety of Kim Jong, which I don't know what that means, but it could either be threats or location leaking. The fan clubs are usually not given this type of information, so if they were leaking, I don't know for sure, Kim Jong's condo or personal information like that, then that information was likely received through Sasaengs or stalker methods, as opposed to the label providing that information. And labels will often provide information to the fan club because sometimes the fan club and labels work together. But in a situation like this, it's quite scary to think someone that the label possibly trusted could have harmed the exact idol that they claim to be a fan of. The label did put out a statement very quickly after to say that strong legal action will be taken on behalf of Kim Jong and his safety. This, of course, made the fandom very happy and feel very good. I know a lot of labels are already doing this, but a lot of this needs to be done more often. I think it is difficult. I can very easily just sit here and say so-and-so needs work, but actually implementing said work is much harder. But we have a case here that is an example that it is possible, and I do hope for more safety for all idols in the future. Jung Kook has also been someone with a lot of strange stalker situations, and people thought that this was a reason that Jung Kook doesn't enjoy live streaming recently, but this is not true. If you are not aware, our Cookie Monster has been in love with jumping on a live stream and catching up with us lately. The members go a very long time, sometimes in between posts, live streams, and updates. Now, this is fairly normal with any celebrity, and you often don't see too many complaints about it because in a lot of American culture, the celebrity is seen as a celebrity, whereas K-pop idols like to perpetuate this idea that we are in a relationship with them. So when these idols go even a day or a week without talking or posting for us, the fandom starts to think the idol is mad or that the fandom did something to upset them, rather than this idea that the idol is just busy or extremely tired. The boys are very introverted. We see stuff like that all the time on their reality show Bon Voyage and In the Soup. The boys, even though they are all around the other members, all have moments where they prefer to be alone in a van or take a bike ride alone, things like that. So of course, there's just going to be long stretches where they just simply don't feel like interacting with the world. I do react to a lot of the reality show that BTS does, and recently we are doing Jinny's Kitchen every Thursday. So if you're interested in joining me and jumping on the reality show with me and the community over on Patreon, I will link the Patreon below. We currently have an open $1 tier with limited spots, so I hope to see you there. Other moments that the fandom might not think about include just how busy they are. People are usually on set for at least 5 or 6 hours for a photo shoot, and if you're shooting a commercial or preparing for a show, that can literally take the whole day. But that is not all there is to do in a day. There's events after or before, and then press, meetings, and people don't even think about the admin stuff they have to do. Celebrities do written interviews all the time. A lot of written interviews where you see a question being asked, and then there's a paragraph where it's their answer. Sometimes it's a journalist sitting there and just recording your answer. Other times it's a journalist sending the idols those questions and the idol just sits there with their laptop and fills it in. So even if they're just back at their hotel, it's like homework. This is why idols often wake up at like 5 a.m. and still aren't done until way after midnight. And by the way, even though that sounds crazy, people in the industry will tell you that doesn't sound crazy. It's very typical and you have nothing really to complain about because everyone is like that. And that's the only way to be successful. It's one of the reasons why entertainment needs a union like SAG or whatever, because otherwise people would just have you work forever and you would also just work forever. But that's a whole other conversation. My point here is that idols are not usually mad at their fans, as they are also aware that the bad things are just isolated to a few people and not everyone. When Jung Kook was recently on the stream, he wanted to show love to ARMYs in a very unique way. He was joking about dating and then told ARMYs that he will be dating ARMYs for 3 seconds. He then jokingly said that they all had broken up and then told ARMY that he had some news. The news was that Jung Kook had recently broken up with someone. And I think that is so funny. He then says, "We were dating and now we can officially say that Jung Kook was our ex-lover." Now that is all silly and fun. Of course, no one took that personally and people had mostly moved on from this. I don't think it was ever really a scandal for Jung Kook to joke about this. However, Jung Kook was believed to have been dating for real, and that was definitely interesting. Jung Kook had been rumored not too long ago to be dating a blonde woman in Qatar. So this rumor occurred when he visited Qatar for the first World Cup performance, and then people were saying that him and a random blonde woman were wearing the same necklace and him and her are dating. It was like two completely random people that had no connection. But for some reason that story went viral. And then it got interesting as the internet claimed they had found this random girl and believed it was not a staff but that Jung Kook was dating her. And it was just weird. They sent her threats, you know, the usual, and then someone dug up something even weirder. There was a photo of a blonde girl who was not an idol. She's Korean and she had bleached her hair blonde. Now keep in mind the girl was believed to be dating Jung Kook in Qatar, never had a face. It was a blurry picture of a blonde girl that was going viral and people were saying that these two were dating. Like, I to this day still have no idea what she looks like. People were saying that it makes a lot of sense that Jung Kook would date a Korean girl with blonde hair as opposed to some random woman in Qatar. And no, it doesn't. You mean in this fantasy world where we don't even see this alleged Qatar blonde girl, would Jung Kook be more likely to date someone else? Nothing makes sense. Well, also, why wouldn't Jung Kook date someone from overseas? The world is his oyster. If he feels like he really loves this person, then obviously he can go fly to see each other. It's also clear that Jung Kook was never dating this blonde woman. The people spreading this rumor also claim that she is a native in Qatar and sells jewelry. Now, she could speak Korean, but the likelihood is low. She lives in Qatar and also her business is there. I don't see she would have the time to learn a language. So in that situation, how does Jung Kook and this blonde woman communicate given Jung Kook's English is not good? The Korean blonde girl was in an elevator and took a selfie, and in the corner there was a photo of a person with hair that looked similar to Jung Kook. It was semi-curly, mid-length, and it was believed to be Jung Kook standing next to her. Except there is no indication of who this is. You see a corner of hair that maybe looks like Jung Kook, maybe. People were saying that since it was photo footage leaked, that this must be intimate photo or that it's a photo of the two dating, kissing in the elevator, doing couple stuff. And I want to throw out this thought here. If this was Jung Kook and his hair that we see in the corner, who is to say that this isn't a staff that just asked for a photo of Jung Kook while they were in an elevator together, coming down from their hotel after Jung Kook got his makeup done in his hotel. And the woman just wanted to keep that photo or post that photo privately because the fandom loves to take things out of context and post it. They took a video of Jung Kook's breakup with ARMY, the one where we have the 3-second relationship, and they used that clip to fulfill the narrative that Jung Kook was dating the blonde girl. They just had broken up. So we already know that parts of the fandom love to cut and paste things out of context and make up a story. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you, bye.